G'day, Professor Joseph Drew here. I'm here to talk to you about the single biggest threat to local government financial sustainability, and something that we actually suffer a lot with: fiscal illusion. So what is fiscal illusion? Fiscal illusion occurs when citizens can no longer perceive the true price for the goods and services that they consume, and also can no longer perceive the true financial predicament of their local government. In this video, I'll go through the causes of it, and I'll also tell you about how to fight fiscal illusion. So how does fiscal illusion actually play out for your local government? Well, it's like putting all your local government goods and services on sale. This picture you see here is from the Black Friday sales. And what you tend to find is when things are dramatically reduced in price, people load up their shopping trolleys. And the same will occur for you. If you're not charging the correct prices, if you're not sending out price signals carefully, people will load up their trolleys with lots of local government goods and services. And of course, that's going to erode financial sustainability. But also, people are rather perverse, and economics is essentially a behavioural science. People often forget that. They get caught up in the numbers and forget about thinking how real people actually behave. And what you'll find is that when things are on sale, when things are discounted, people not only want more of the item, but they demand a higher quality. A really good example of this is our PBS scheme for medicine. The medicines are highly subsidised, and people keep demanding new medicines and higher quality, more efficacious medicines all the time. But it happens in a range of things, and I'm sure you can think of lots of examples in your own life. So what's driving this fiscal illusion? I've already pointed at a few of the things. First and foremost, I think, is incorrect pricing. When you do not price local government goods and services at the long run marginal cost, you're essentially putting them on sale. That's going to encourage citizen consumers to consume more of them, demand higher quality, and it also means that the remainder of your local government ratepayer base is subsidising the consumption of certain goods and services by particular people, which is rather unjust. The other cause of fiscal illusion is insufficient taxes. And looking around the country, it's quite clear that most local governments need to have a sit down and a good hard think about whether their taxes are at an adequate level. Mostly they're not, and we can see that with deficits. We can see that with infrastructure backlogs. We can see that with the types of ways debt is being used to fund items. But we also need to have a good long think about distributive justice, and that's making sure that the burdens of taxation are distributed in a fair manner, and mostly they are not in Australia. So that's something that needs a lot of work, and it also requires work from the regulators. They need to give us a legislative flexibility to get distributive justice into the local government tax system. Lack of community knowledge is clearly a problem. Most people go down the street, talk to people about the cost of local government goods and services they're using, or the financial position of the local government, they wouldn't have a clue. It's obviously a big problem, and it's something that can be addressed pretty quickly by giving information to people at the time that they consume the goods. So if they're purchasing a good or service, tell them how much the good or service actually costs, how much the subsidy is. When you send out your rates notice, tell them where that money goes. Tell them how many community grants are being distributed and to whom they're being distributed, and why that is a good use of taxpayer money. So it's just giving information, addressing those information asymmetries that are so pronounced through most government-citizen relationships. And inappropriate subsidies are a cause of fiscal illusion. When we either deliberately, or more often than not, subconsciously heavily subsidise a good and service because we haven't priced it properly, because we haven't communicated the level of the subsidy, well, obviously that's going to feed into fiscal illusion. People simply won't know how much the item that they're consuming is worth. They'll think it's worth what they're paying for it, which is how most of us behave in our personal finances. So to fight fiscal illusion, it really comes straight off those points that I talked about before. Signal prices carefully. When you charge a fee or service, make sure the fee or service is correct. And then if there is a subsidy, state clearly what that subsidy is. An example I often give is the local swimming pool. I worked out the real cost of a visit. It's about $15. My council charges me $5 per child. Now, it's quite simple in that case. I pay my $5 at the pool and I receive a ticket in return that says price paid $5, and then in great big writing, subsidy provided by the taxpayers of your council area, $10. And we just give people information and then they can make good decisions. At the moment, most people don't know the true cost of items because we never tell them. Most people don't know how much the taxpayers of their local government area are subsidising their consumption because we never tell them. Such a simple thing to fix. Educate your community. Things like this video, I've said before, I'm happy for you to use my videos or parts of my videos on your own council websites to provide people with expert, unbiased, independent information on a range of topics. Please use them. Please reach out. People in communities do actually want to know these things, but it's incredibly difficult for them to get information. They don't know how operational plans work. They don't know how accrual accounting works and what's in the notes of financial statements and things like that. So make it easy for them. Put the information up in a format and a form that they can easily understand and access. Levy appropriate fees and taxes. It's, as I say, #1 job that every council needs to do and needs to put a fair bit of work into. And use debt sustainably. When debt is not used correctly, and there's a video on this, and please examine it, if it's not used correctly, if it's not used in the moral way, well then effectively you're asking a future generation to heavily subsidise the consumption of assets by the current generation. Of course, the current generation won't understand the cost of these goods and services and assets because they're actually passing the buck onto their children and their grandchildren. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favour, distribute it to other people you know in the local government sector, subscribe to the channel and give it the thumbs up and help me to help others. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.